For many, Kansas City seems like the perfect place to move. Affordable homes, a booming job market, and that famous Midwestern charm. But here's the truth. There are some things about living here that a lot of real estate agents gloss right over. After helping hundreds of people relocate here, I've seen firsthand what catches newcomers off guard, from spiking property taxes and high crime in certain areas to unexpected costs and challenges that come after you move in. So in this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on the stuff that most agents don't tell you, the good, the bad, and the things you really need to know before you make the move. And if you're already planning your move, be sure to grab our free relocation guide linked below. Let's start with one of the hardest truths about living in Kansas City: crime. While a lot of real estate agents might brush past this or focus only on the positives, it's important that you have the full picture, because moving somewhere new isn't just about the house, it's about the community and your peace of mind. According to US News and World Report, Kansas City is ranked as the 8th most dangerous city in the United States. That ranking looks at violent crime, things like assaults, robberies, and homicides, as well as property crime like car break-ins and theft. To give you some perspective, the city recorded 185 homicides in 2023, the highest number on record. In 2024, that number did dip slightly, but this year we're seeing domestic violence cases and property crime on the rise. And here's where I get personal with you. I actually live in Waldo and am currently serving as the honorary mayor. I love this area. It's vibrant, it's walkable, it has great local businesses and shops, and it feels like a small town within the city. But especially in the warmer months, there's an undercurrent of anxiety. Now, I'm in all the local Facebook groups, and I see it play out in real time, post after post, about car break-ins, business burglaries, even shots fired late at night. It's something that we talk about often in the community. What I've noticed, and what a lot of residents will tell you, is that crime tends to spike in the warmer months and subside in the winter. Last summer alone, for example, my favorite local coffee shop was broken into twice, and several of my neighbors had their cars rifled through, even when parked in well-lit areas. It's frustrating, and yes, it can make you second-guess things sometimes. But, and this is key, it's not the whole story. Crime in KC is highly localized. There are absolutely areas that are much safer with significantly lower crime rates. Places like Overland Park, Leawood, and Lee Summit often come up as great options for families or anyone prioritizing safety, and where a lot of you have actually moved to with our help. And even in neighborhoods like Waldo, Hyde Park, Brookside, there's a strong sense of community resilience. Neighbors look out for each other. Businesses are investing in security upgrades, and there's been some movement in both residents and the city to try and address the issues. We have seen initiatives like the Back to Business grants, which provide funding for businesses hit by crime, and community meetings where residents can voice their concerns directly to local law enforcement. Voters also just passed the public safety sales tax extension, which will fund a new city jail, something that we've needed for a very long time. If you're seriously considering a move here, my biggest piece of advice is arm yourself with knowledge. Don't rely solely on word of mouth or an agent's opinion. Instead, check out resources like neighborhoodscout.com. This gives you detailed crime maps and analytics by zip code and neighborhoods. KCPD's crime map at kcpolice.org shows real-time crime reports, so you can get a true sense of what's happening in any given area. And of course, plug into local Facebook groups and Nextdoor. These are gold mines for hearing about what's really going on day to day. At the end of the day, no city is perfect. Kansas City, like many urban centers, has its challenges. But it also has incredible heart, a community that steps up for each other, and a real commitment to making things better. As someone who both lives and works here, I'm always happy to have an honest conversation about what's actually happening so you can make the most informed decision possible. And while safety is often the first thing people think about when moving here, there's another issue that can hit just as hard: in your wallet. Let's talk about one of the most complicated and frustrating parts of owning a home in Kansas City, or Jackson County for that matter: property taxes. If you've been researching Kansas City, then you probably heard that housing here is affordable compared to other big metros. And while that is true on the surface, property taxes, especially in Jackson County, are a whole other story. Here's the truth. Kansas City's property tax system is complicated, unpredictable, and lately downright chaotic. The short version is that Jackson County reassesses property values every 2 years. That's supposed to keep things fair and up to date. But in 2023, homeowners were blindsided when assessments spiked on average of 30%. Some even doubled. Imagine budgeting for a $3,000 tax bill and getting hit with a $6,000 bill the next year. That's exactly what happened to some of my clients and to me personally. Naturally, people were furious. The courthouse was flooded with appeals, lawsuits were filed, and even recall petitions started circulating to oust local leaders. As a real estate professional, I've followed this closely because honestly, it was affecting every single one of our clients who was considering a move to Jackson County. The county didn't exactly help its case either. A judge later found that Jackson County failed to send out notices on time, not giving homeowners a fair shot to challenge their new assessments. On top of that, state law requires that if your property value jumps more than 15%, you can request an interior inspection. But in 2023, more than 200,000 properties crossed that 15% threshold, completely overwhelming the system. This has resulted in a massive legal battle that's still playing out. Just recently, a judge ordered the county to roll back assessments on about 75% of properties. At first, people thought this meant refund checks were coming. But here's where things get tricky. The taxes from last year are already spent on teacher salaries, mental health services, fire departments, and road repairs. In other words, that money isn't coming back. So what happens next? Well, it will likely show up in the form of a tax credit on future bills, but to cover those credits, the county may impose what's called a recoupment levy, basically raising the tax rate across the board to make up the difference. In other words, even if you didn't get a huge tax hike before, you could still end up paying more to help fund relief for others. If you're moving to Kansas City, this is definitely something you should be considering. Now, county leaders are divided. Some see the rollback as the only fair option. Others worry it's just kicking the can down the road and could blow up again when assessments spike even higher to make up for lost ground. Again, the bottom line is this: if you're planning to move to Jackson County, especially in areas like Brookside, Waldo, or anywhere near the urban core, you need to be prepared for the uncertainty. Your first year tax estimate might look affordable, but there's a very real chance it could jump the next assessment cycle. And while areas like Johnson County on the Kansas side have their own tax quirks, they've generally been more predictable and stable in recent years. As someone who's helped dozens of buyers navigate this, my advice is simple: budget conservatively and leave room for possible increases. Stay plugged into the local news. The Beacon is one that I monitor closely, and they've done an excellent job of breaking it all down. And lastly, bookmark tools like the Jackson County Parcel Viewer and follow updates from the Jackson County Assessment Office. This is one of those things that can blindside buyers if you're not well informed. But when you know what to expect and work with someone who's staying on top of it, you can plan ahead and potentially avoid any nasty surprises. So while property taxes are one of the biggest financial wildcards here, they're really just one piece of the financial puzzle. To get the full picture, let's break down what it actually costs to live day to day in Kansas City. And spoiler, it's probably more than you think. When we ask people why they moved to Kansas City, affordable is at the top for so many people moving here. And yes, compared to places like Denver, Austin, or Chicago, Kansas City does offer a lot of bang for your buck. But once you move past the sticker price on housing, you'll find a few hidden costs that might surprise you. First, let's talk utilities. Kansas City's weather is extreme. Hot, humid summers and icy, windy winters. That means your HVAC system is working hard year-round. In the summer, it's not uncommon to see electricity bills hitting $300 or more per month, especially in older homes. And in the winter, those gas bills do the exact same thing. Then there's the water situation in Kansas City. This is something a lot of people don't expect. Casey's average water bill is around $120 per month, nearly triple the national average of $45. And why is that? Well, it's because of a federally mandated sewer system overhaul that's been underway since 2010 and will continue through 2035. That cost is passed directly to homeowners. Even longtime residents still grumble about how high those bills can get. And here's the part where perception and reality often clash: the housing market. You might hear national headlines suggesting the market is cooling, but that's not the full picture here in Kansas City. According to the most recent data from the Kansas City Regional Association of Realtors, home prices across the metro have risen by 7.9% year over year. Now, let's zoom in real quick to Johnson County, which is one of the most popular destinations for those of you who are relocating here. It's where nearly half of our clients end up landing. Back in March of 2020, the median sales price here was about $324,000. As of March 2025, that's jumped to $465,000. That's a massive leap in just 5 years. Of course, real estate is hyper-local. Yes, there are neighborhoods that have cooled slightly, and some sellers are adjusting to expectations. But across the board, especially in the most desirable suburbs and neighborhoods, prices have continued to climb steadily since 2020. The bottom line is this: Kansas City is still more affordable than many big metros, but it's not the bargain it was even 5 years ago. Between rising home prices, utilities, taxes, and everyday expenses, it's essential to come in with eyes wide open and have a realistic budget. And if you are considering a move, we'd love to help you navigate in a smart way. You could book a call at any point with our team down below. Whether you're just starting to explore your options or ready to dive in, we're here to guide you every step of the way. Now, while budgeting for your home and living expenses is key, there's another factor that will shape your daily life here: how you get around. Let's talk about what to expect when it comes to infrastructure and transportation in Kansas City. Here's something a lot of newcomers don't realize until you get here. Kansas City is built for cars. KC is one of the most car-dependent cities in the country, and unless you live and work right downtown, you're going to need your own set of wheels. Now, we do have a streetcar line that's fantastic, and it is getting expanded. It runs through downtown, and it's going to end up at UMKC. It's great if you're commuting within a small radius, but if you're planning to live in the suburbs or even a few miles outside the urban core, public transit options are pretty limited. And Kansas City's urban sprawl is no joke. Unlike cities that build upward, Kansas City has expanded outward over decades. And that means neighborhoods and suburbs are spread out. For example, if you live in Olathe or Lee Summit and work downtown, you're looking at a 30 to 45 minute commute on a good day. Next up, let's talk about the roads. Kansas City is notorious for potholes and infrastructure challenges. In fact, about 27% of Kansas City's roads are rated in poor condition, and while there are multi-million-dollar projects underway to resurface and widen key routes, it's a slow-moving process. You'll often hear locals joke that pothole season is year-round here, and after a rough winter, it can feel like you're navigating a minefield on certain streets. The city is making efforts to address this. In 2023 alone, Kansas City invested more than $40 million in road repairs and resurfacing projects aiming to tackle some of the worst affected areas. But with so much ground to cover, it's going to take years to get everything up to par. Parking is another thing to keep in mind. The good news is, despite what you'll hear from some Kansas Cityans, most places, including downtown, have plenty of parking lots and garages. You won't struggle to find a spot like you might in cities like Boston or San Francisco. The trade-off, of course, is that having a car is essential for almost everything, from commuting to grocery runs to weekend outings. For people coming from cities with robust public transit systems, this can be a big lifestyle adjustment. Kansas City simply isn't set up for car-free life unless you're very intentional about living and working in the small slice of the city where transit is readily available. Now, one silver lining is this, and it's one of the biggest things that I appreciate most since moving back from Denver. Kansas City traffic is not bad at all. Yes, there are rush hours, especially on I-35 and I-70 and 435, but most people are pleasantly surprised that traffic here is manageable compared to, say, Los Angeles, Dallas, or even Denver. Kansas City is a city where space and freedom to drive are part of the culture, and that also means embracing the quirks and challenges that come with it. Now, let's talk about what it's actually like to live here day to day. First, the good. Kansas City is famous for its Midwestern hospitality. People here are welcoming, down to earth, and genuinely interested in building community. Whether you're grabbing a coffee, attending a festival, or just running errands, it's normal to strike up conversations with strangers. Even after growing up here, this is something that I recognized immediately after moving back from Denver, which doesn't have that same hospitable feel. Now, for many, that's a huge perk. It makes settling in easier, and it's part of what gives KC its warm, small-town feel despite being a bigger city. But, and this is important, if you're single and moving here, you need to know what you're signing up for. According to Wallet Hub's 2025 ranking of the best and worst cities for singles, Kansas City ranked 104th out of 184 cities. And right next door, Overland Park did not fare much better, coming in at 105th. These rankings aren't just arbitrary, they're based on detailed data across 3 key categories: economic, fun and recreation, and dating opportunities. Here's where it gets tricky. Casey scored a respectable 54th for economics and 81st for fun and recreation. But when it comes to dating opportunities, we ranked 126th and Overland Park scored even lower, landing at 143rd for dating potential. So what's dragging us down? Things like a smaller pool of singles, lower online and mobile dating engagement, and honestly, that high school sweetheart vibe that Casey is known for. Many people here settle down young and stay within tight-knit social circles, which can make it feel harder to break in if you're new to town. This has been the experience of many people who have relocated to Kansas City, and the sprawl also plays a big part. Because everything is so spread out, meeting people organically takes more effort. It's not like more dense areas where you bump into new faces every day just by walking around. Here, building a social or dating life often means putting yourself out there intentionally, joining groups, signing up for events, or being proactive on apps. That said, Kansas City has plenty to offer once you're plugged in. From vibrant nightlife and craft breweries to music festivals and First Friday weekends, there's no shortage of ways to get out and meet people. It just takes a little more effort to build momentum. So if you're moving here single, it's doable, but it helps to have realistic expectations. I always tell clients, be ready to put in work socially, especially in the first year, and look for opportunities to connect through shared interests, whether that's fitness, arts, volunteering, or one of Casey's many community events. Now, if you've watched this far, you've probably realized moving to Kansas City isn't always super simple. Whether it's navigating the property tax maze, choosing the right neighborhood, or figuring out your day-to-day lifestyle fit, there's a lot more to it than just finding a house. And that's exactly why it's so important to work with someone who specializes in relocation. This isn't just something we dabble in, it's our entire focus. I built a team that's dedicated specifically to helping people move to Kansas City. From your first exploratory call to the moment you're settled in your new home, we've designed every step of the process to make your move as smooth and stress-free as possible. We don't just show homes, we help you understand the real differences between neighborhoods, things like commute times, schools, and accessibility. We guide you through everything from budgeting for those tricky property taxes to setting up utilities to understanding what daily life really looks like here in Kansas City. Plus, we connect you with trusted local partners, whether it's movers, lenders, contractors, or inspectors, so you're not left guessing or Googling at the last minute. What we've realized is relocation is different from buying a home when you already live in an area. There are more unknowns, more moving pieces, and often more stress. But that's exactly what we're here for, and nobody in Kansas City does it better. So, whether you're in the early stages of thinking about a move or you're ready to dive in, we'd love to be your go-to team. We've helped hundreds of people relocate to Kansas City successfully, and we're ready to help you do the same. We've also put together a free relocation guide covering everything from neighborhoods to cost of living to insider tips you won't find on Google. You can grab that using the link down below. And if you want personalized advice or just want to talk through your specific situation, book a call with the team anytime. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.